Welcome back to the PEG podcast. You already know who this is. It's definitely your favorite soulful child. Char, come back at you once again. And yo, I got a great speaker for you today. She's a manifester, man. More than you guys know, she's a manifester, and her name is Kenyana, right? I'm gonna make sure I'm saying that right because I don't want her to hurt me. Kenyana David, all right, and she's a powerful speaker. I actually saw your picture and everything on Sherelle Walker during the summit as well, and I had all the women's picture. All right. And just to see so many beautiful women on that platform that actually came and spoke and crushed it, it was so crazy. It was so crazy. I felt like I was a little kid in a candy store. Right. I was like, man, this is a wonderful idea. And to have so many people, so many speakers, so many women like, yeah, let's do it from all over the world. I was like, I'm so honored to be here for my first time. That was crazy. So shout out to Shay on a mission, Shay Walker, and for that opportunity for us. So Kenyana, hey, let the PG podcast speakers know. Look, who this beautiful soul is. Let me hear your sound, hear your voice, and I want them to know that brand of yours is a book. All right, so I want you to introduce them, who you are, and what you do on this planet, because it's a reason why you're here. We was manifested between each other.
Sure. Hey, everybody. My name is Kenyana David, and I am all about positive energy. I'm all about unicorn things and good times and good friends. Um, that's me. I think I'm here just to just be positive energy.
In the
Positive energy.
community, yeah. Yeah, and she's an entrepreneur as well and an educator. And like I said, she's a book and to be an educator of so many things. I want to touch on a few things because you're also a community advocate, right?
Hmm.
And can you just touch a little bit on what a community advocate and before we go a little deeper into who you are and what you do, we're going to take a short, brief prayer. Everybody's going to join us on that prayer. And then we're going to, like I said, give it back to the Most High, as always. And then we're going to dive a little deeper about who Kenyana David is. So could you tell everyone that's listening, wherever they are, that's watching, what is a community advocate?
It's a person, and we all are that person to some extent that are just taking note of what's happening in the community and being the change that we want to see. We are getting involved in initiatives in the city and the region and the state and the country, and speaking up, being the voice for things that we see and that don't necessarily, for me personally, everything that I'm involved in doesn't necessarily speak to where I'm at in life per se. Like, for example, I'm really involved in Open Buffalo, which is all about um, acknowledging some of the places in the community. People are like, they're in food deserts. They are not getting proper attention, medical attention. They're not getting proper. They're not learning, tested in politics that's going on, and getting out and being involved in that, being a part of that, learning to communicate, listening to understand, as opposed to listening to respond and judge, and doing the footwork. Sometimes it's behind the desk and sometimes it's out in the community, but all of it is moving toward a better community. So advocating for those who can't, advocating with those that do,
Mhm.
advocating for things that you just see as something that you need to get involved in. So
That's
that's a
very
community
powerful
advocate.
too. What made you started to be a community advocate?
Because I recognize that I am blessed, but my circumstances, your circumstances, everybody's circumstances can change instantly. Like, anything can
True.
happen.
That's true.
Anything can happen. You can have money in your bank account today and have nothing in there next week.
That's so true.
Um, you could, your house could catch fire and you're displaced and you're in a food desert and you're trying to figure out where's the closest grocery store. I'm really involved in Mona's House, which um, supports not drug, sex traffic victims. Um, And, as a woman, anything can happen. You can walk up to, a older lady can walk up to you and you not even know that you're being trafficked. You're thinking you're helping her, put stuff in her car, and all of a sudden you're in a different situation. So being hyper aware that your circumstances can change, and supporting those whose circumstances have already changed, and, I think when you realize it could be you think different, you work different, and you can empathize. You're not, oh, that's too bad, as opposed to, you know, realizing you're a woman too. No
Yeah.
one asked to be in these kind of situations, and
No.
they just happen. It's nothing that they did. A lot of times, it's nothing that they did wrong. It's just something happened, something went terribly wrong, and we all can be in that situation. So I really like to get involved in things that I know is not their fault. It wouldn't be my fault. Um, and just getting involved, that's a big, maybe that's why I'm here.
That is why you
Maybe
here.
that's why I'm here.
This is why you're here. Hey, that's your mission. That's your personal legend. And then before we just start talking about, you said the Mona House, right? The Mona House that you is an advocate for, and you not only take time for yourself to learn and be aware, but you hear out so many other women that's been into these situations to prevent others to get into this situation, or what to do in this situation. We're gonna give it back to the Most High, and I always love to give back to the Most High. And I tell every listener to the podcast that it's not about us giving a name; it's about us just giving back, because we can get stuck in giving a name, and we can have a controversy of what name we think solidify the Most High. But as long as you give back to the Most High, um, that's what we're here to do. All right, so we're gonna take a small word of prayer, and then we're gonna dive a little deeper into who Kenyana David is, and what is this Mona House, and how can you be aware of it yourself? Because you got me interested. I want to know more. All right, so let's take this little prayer. All right, Father God, I come to you as humble as we know how, just saying thank you. Thank you for this opportunity. Thank you for the unity. And thank you for all the knowledge and wisdom that will be shared onto this podcast. Well, thank you for Alana, Kenyana, and I together, and just inspiring so many others that's listening to this podcast, watching this podcast. And as we continue to push forward, and even separate after the podcast, Father God, we pray that we touch someone, at least one person, impact someone around the world, that will continue to spread the knowledge and be aware of the things around us, Father God. We just continue to say thank you. In your holy name we pray. Amen. Hey. So, hey, and what school, like, where you said Buffalo? You say I know you and Shay Walker share the same area, because you guys both is in Buffalo. Buffalo where? Buffalo, New York?
Yep. Buffalo, New York.
Hey, my wife is from New York, and I'm also gravitating a lot of toward a lot of New Yorkers, and that's because one thing I realized about New Yorkers, they like the grind.
Oh yeah, yeah. It's definitely a grind and hustle state.
Yes, I'm talking
Yeah.
about fast-paced thinkers, and I'm like, okay, I'm gravitating with more New Yorker. That's fine. I like it. I get to see so many of you guys' perspectives, because it's brilliant the way you guys think. Just saying, like, I'm not looking at it like I'm dissecting the world and like, oh, that's a New Yorker. Oh, that's a Souther. Oh, I'm from the South, so I just know, I'm from the South, so I know how it is. It's different. So I'm learning about more up north culture and how you guys learn. I'm like, I actually think it's brilliant. I think they should bring a lot of the mindset as far as like how to go get it in life. I feel like the South could be taught a lot of that. Just being honest.
You know what's so funny? I agree with you. And I am originally from Spartanburg, South Carolina. So I can see the difference, like the mindset, how I was raised. And even when I go back home and I see the difference, here it's definitely survival of the fittest with a lot of things. Even, having a business, with the government, it's survival of the fittest. Do you do the things that you're supposed to do in the order to survive? So I can definitely see the difference, south and north, for sure.
And I never been up north. I'm gonna go one day, maybe, maybe not. I watch a lot of what is it called? what is the criminal show CSI? My mom used to watch a lot of it, and it all focused a lot up in New York or up north, and it didn't really give me much motivation to be like, go up there. I play ball. I was like, I go play ball, but then I want to come back. I'm not.
You
But
know what? You got to come. You got to come. Buffalo, Western New York is different than New York City. But
okay.
Western New York, I think if, say like you go to Niagara Falls and you see this magic of the falls, it's empowering. You feel like you really could do anything.
Right, that's true.
And we're like right at the border of Canada. So you can literally just look over and see Canada. And just to be able to see a whole nother country, to see, all these cool things happening, it's a high in of itself. Like you don't feel like a horse, you feel like a unicorn.
Hey, the magical place.
Yeah.
That's cool. That's actually pretty dope. I actually really, really want to go to Canada. My brother has always in his lifetime, one fun fact about my twin, is always wanted to go to Canada. I don't know what it is about Canada. And then as I grow up in life, I'm like, I want to go to Canada. I know the healthcare is really good, far as like medical. They have really good healthcare. And so I'm like, I want to go to Canada. I don't know any bad thing about Canada. And my wife like Canada. So we all here like, let's go to Canada. No, so,
Why not?
right?
Let me know when you get here.
Hey, that's dope. That's dope. We can all vibe. That's dope. We're gonna put you brain check. We're gonna talk about it. All right.
Okay.
And also Kenyana is also a founder at 8118. Talk about the 8118 because that's new. Well, for me, and I know for others that's listening, they're like, what is 8118? So talk a little bit more about 8118, just giving a brief description of what it is and what you do of it.
Sure. So 8118 is a boutique marketing firm in that it specializes in email marketing. No other digital marketing, just email marketing, and for female entrepreneurs. So that's in the spaces of coaches, consultant advisors. And the focus is through an education standpoint, which is where the female marketing for entrepreneurs come in. So all of the work is done through the academy, where there's master classes, there's labs like action labs where can work on email sequences, can work on just regular emails, newsletters. It's coming from a space of learning, not following the trends. Right now with marketing, it's a lot of like fluff, like how to have, how to connect with people, but it's not necessarily authentic. So we really focus on what do you sound like? What is something that you would say? I'm all about relational marketing. I don't really get into transactional marketing, but the focus is to help female entrepreneurs learn how to make money with email marketing. It has the highest rate of return. And when done right, when it's done authentically, where you're having genuine conversations with your buyers, subscribers, audience, whatever language you want to use, that's where the conversion comes in.
Right.
So not hard selling anyone, but just building authentic relationships. So that's the complete focus of 8118 and the Femme Academy. But 8118 at the baseline, the name is the year I was born, which is 81, and 18, which is when I really figured out using myself as an educator, like getting away from the way coaching's supposed to be done, or if you're a consultant or you're a coach, and taking out that stuff and using what I know, the skill set, and focusing on email marketing from an education standpoint, but with energy, with a personality, with fun, with grace. So I am having a blast. I work with a lot of really cool entrepreneurs, but I've also gotten an opportunity to work with a lot of organizations. So a big component is going into organizations like recently I went into the library and did some workshops there on, just how to have a conversation in email, without being weird.
Without being weird.
Yeah, so
I
I
think
get
it's
to
very
go in.
interesting too, because it could be very beneficial in businesses and just personally too. You know, like I said, not coming off weird, coming off the right way, and getting a mutual conversation. That's
Yeah.
really dope.
So I am having a blast with that. Um, I finally feel like I figured out my space with entrepreneurship, something that works for me as a person,
Mhm.
as an entrepreneur. And this is my jam full time. This is what
Easy.
I wake up to do every day. So it's cool.
That commitment. I like that. I
Yeah.
like that. You also an alumni too at the University of Phoenix.
Yes.
Hey, what year? Shout your year out.
So for the University of Phoenix is 2012 and 2014. But I'm also alumni of Alfred University. For what year I
Alfred
graduated?
University.
2004.
2004.
Yes. So I went to brick and mortar online, stayed on, on site, stayed on campus. That was really, really cool. But the University of Phoenix has a soft spot. Like my learning style works best with the University of Phoenix. Like I like to read and I'm not an audio learner. So with Alfred, I love Alfred. I met my
Shout out
husband
to
there.
Alfred.
I do. I love Alfred. I still keep in contact with friends, but the University of Phoenix, um, when I went back to, I love school. So I went back for a second
Full of books.
bachelor's. I love school. I absolutely love it. Um, and then my master's, and now I'm doing my doctorate there. And I like them. I really do. They're
That's
cool.
the shout out to the schools, man. Like I like school, and like sometimes there's courses in school that I don't like, but
Oh, sure. Yeah.
the overall just being in school, learning something new, like why not?
Yeah.
Why not? I'm talking about you can do other things with your time, so why not go to school plus add value on my time? So that's
Right. Right. You're doing it anyway, like you're learning, by, going to workshops or buying books, or you're learning anyway, just to have it in a
Mhm.
formalized, sequence essentially. And honestly, for college, like I talk to my students all the time about it. It's a resource. It's not a magic trick. You're not going to necessarily get a certain job or get a certain career, which is school. It's a set of resources. Like you learn all these cool things, you learn all these dope techniques, you meet all these dope people to use in your career.
Right.
So
Yes,
it's
that's
cool.
facts. This is so true. Like
Yeah.
they always a piece somewhere. You know, you can learn so much from so many people. So that's
Hmm.
really dope. That's the one thing I like, well, love about entrepreneurship. Like even in the military, I had an opportunity to like. I was like, why did I meet this person, bro? Like that was like the thing. I'm like, I only met you here, and I just want to know what purpose did you do,
Yeah, everyone has a purpose.
right?
Every single person.
Right. And
That's
after
cool.
entrepreneurship, made me realize like in the military, every person that came in my life had a purpose. Every event in your life had a purpose. And so
Right.
being on the road of entrepreneurship, I agree with you. Like that's the biggest thing I learned and I love about like every person that comes to my life. I'm like, okay, what are you gonna serve? All right, I'm ready to know. You know what I'm saying?
Yes.
You got information on the email, and that's really really dope because there's so many people, especially starting off entrepreneurship or just starting a business or want to know how to help improve their business. That can be a beneficial thing.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and it's an untapped market right now. There are people talking about email marketing for sure, but it's like overthought to me. Like they overthink it, like the formula, and don't forget the call to action and all these things. It's like when you see people out on the street, you have a short conversation. Hey, how's it going? How you feeling? Did you know this? Or let me tell you that. Like just normal conversations, you're just putting in an email. So
right.
I there is formula that you should consider, because those are tools and things in Active Campaign and MailChimp and SendBlue and all those things. But really, it's just short conversations with your homies. Like, that's all
That's
it is.
true. You just have a conversation. You're being honest. Hey,
Yeah.
being honest. Not hiding back. Well, like just let you know what I want. Here I come. I'm gonna tell you what happened today, and that's it.
That's it.
And that helps talk about what today is. Today we're going to talk about raising the awareness, because with all this knowledge that you have, being an author, being an entrepreneur, going to school, so much background, you have accomplished so many things in that. So I want everyone to know, who is Kenyana David like. So describe Kenyana David, and you can do it in 3 words or you can do it in 30 seconds, either or.
Hmm. So I am excited. That's my energy level all day. I am
Okay.
excited about everything. I'm excited to wake up. I'm excited to get a cup of coffee. I'm excited for any meetings. I'm enthusiastic about everything. I feel like everything is an opportunity. Every day is an opportunity. Every person I meet is an opportunity. And I'm excited about it. I look forward to it. Um, that's Kenyana. Like I love life. I love all the things that are going on in my life, and it's not all great. Like I'm really busy. I have um, a family that I don't get to spend a whole lot of time with. I have challenges like everybody else, but I'm
Yeah.
enthusiastic about just having the opportunity to have challenges. Like I just feel blessed in every minute of the day.
You should.
That's who I am. This is what you get all day.
Package. So when you see Kenyana David, just be like, yeah, she got the smile on her face, because every day she's taking a lesson from it, right? Taking a
Yeah.
lesson from it, and she loves it. She's excited about every day.
Every day, everything, every person. Yeah.
So you was that person in school, you're like, man, what is she smiling for? It's 6 o'clock in the morning. They trying to figure out why we up. Everybody in class at 8, the bell is rung, and Kenyana's just ready for class. She ready for school.
I'm ready. I'm ready. Every day. So I have Monday, Wednesday, Fridays, I have an 8 a.m. class. And I get there at like 7:15 and I wait, right?
Right.
Right. And then they get there and they're so tired. They've probably been up all night. And I'm like, get excited, get excited. And they're like, I'm excited. I'm excited. Um, but you know what? Positive energy transfers. So like by
Yeah.
the end of class, this is how they started the day. They started with somebody who's excited about all the things, and they hold on to a little bit, and that's cool. That's
That's cool. Energy is transferable. It is,
Mhm.
and I feel like more people should be open minded to that, because like I learned, like, even just you waking up in the morning time and you stop your tongue on a bed and you start having bad thoughts, your day start to go down from there, just from that energy, and you can honestly stay in that energy and be mad all because of a bed all day. And I never thought about that. Like I can attract, things to agitate me. It can be the smaller things. And but you can also, in that same sense, especially my mom taught me, like, if you can't change it right then, right there, move on. Move on. That's what my mom taught me.
Right, and you survived 100% of everything that's gone terribly wrong, like
That's
everything.
true.
So, like somebody hit my car not too long ago,
Ah,
and everybody was freaking out, like, "Oh my gosh, oh my gosh!" And I'm like, "This is a bummer," But I'm more like, it's a bummer because it's inconvenient. But at the end of the day, the car can be fixed. Nobody was
right.
hurt. Like in an hour, this is all going to be over. We're going to call the insurance company, get it taken care of. It's over. Like, why carry that energy all day? It's income. It's a bummer. That's all it is. But everybody's freaking out, like your car, and I'm thinking it's a car. It still runs. I'm going to get in this bad boy and drive off.
Keep going.
That's it. It's over. Like it's done.
You also,
So,
you also have kids too, kids and a husband, right?
mhm.
Man, you gotta have energy. So you might
Yes.
well have the positive energy. You might well carry the positive energy. You're not doing it alone. You got your kids to inspire you, your husband to inspire you, and even throughout the day, you probably still be like, I'm tired. I don't want to be inspiration no more. But you still do it because like as the day go on, it's gonna continue to, like you say, be transferable. It can rub off. I rather rub off positive energy than negative energy.
Right. And I preserve my energy all day. So like if something is, going on that has nothing to do with me, it's not my problem, an argument or something like, I just don't, it's not my thing. Like, I don't, I'm an empath. Let's start there. So any energy, I'm going to absorb it. And I
Right.
know that if somebody's hurting, I'm going to be sad all day and oh my gosh. So if it's not anything if it's none of my business, I
Yeah.
stay out of it.
Yeah.
Like I don't even bother. Certain music, if it makes me feel a certain way, I just don't listen to it. So I can stay in this space all day, So
Right. Right.
it works most of the time.
If that protects your energy, I teach my kids that. My wife teaches. She teaches me at times with that, especially when I get too caught up into things. It's like you're putting too much energy in it. Like,
Mhm.
because it's literally you can get caught in something, one thing all day. You look up like I didn't do anything today, and this still didn't change, right? Like you said, your car
Mhm.
got hit in 4 hours. It was all gonna be over. The insurance is gonna pay for it. I don't have to stand this energy, and even if I couldn't fix it, they're not gonna be able to fix it. Just move forward. All right, bring more positive energy towards you. You might get something good out of it. All right, so
Right.
it's, to me, I think it's worth it. I think it's worth
It
it.
really is. And then when you do it, often, that's just who you kind of become. So
Right.
it's not something that you're trying to do. Like, the person that hit my car, it was a bummer. I was like, really, today, really? But then, I'm sitting there talking to him, and he's a human like me. Yeah, it was an accident.
Right. It was an
He
accident.
didn't intentionally, want to tie up his day with a couple hours. So we just chatted about other stuff. Like, what are we gonna do? Just be mad.
Right. Or we could be. I mean, you can. It's a choice. But no, you gotta y'all can sit there and just it was better. It's honestly it was probably better. There was a reason why you guys sat there and talked. Like, the accident happened for a reason. Everything happened for a reason. So you
Yeah,
can say, like you said, you can sit here and be mad, calling it energy, or you can get something out of it like a conversation. You never know who you were talking to, right? Or vice versa. They never know the type of person and knowledge that you have. They can be beneficial, or you could be beneficial in their life somehow.
right,
Right?
right. Yeah, it's definitely a choice.
Mhm.
I choose to be positive.
This positive person that you are, were you this type of person in school too?
Oh
Like
yeah.
growing up, yeah.
Oh yeah. I get there. I'm excited. Um, and with the students, so I teach different levels. So I have freshmen for critical thinking. That's interesting. And then I have juniors for marketing and then seniors for leadership. But then I go into the high schools and teach entrepreneurship. But yeah, it's the same energy. I'm excited. It's stuff I know. It's stuff that I think they should know. But I really love on my students. I really do. And because I feel like school does not have to be assignments and deadlines and advisors. Like I really pour into them. I invite them to things like my Toastmasters class, the different organizations I'm involved in. If there's an event, I invite them. I'll buy tickets for them. Like we had a etiquette class last night. They had the career planning department had an etiquette class, and one of my students was sitting there, and we're talking. This is his first time having like a 4-course meal, and I was like, I think you need to practice. So I invited him to. There's a golf event, a golf fundraiser, where they're gonna have plated meals and stuff. So I'm like, Christian, I really think you should come and practice and see if you still remember all the stuff you learned. So, but I get my interns from there. I go to all their events, any initiative that they have. They're exhausting, I'll tell you. They do a bunch of stuff. Um, but yeah, I really pour into them. If they want to, I'll sponsor a membership for an organization because I want them to get involved. And I don't want it to be, um, they're holding themselves back because, the cost of something or they don't understand. Like, get out there, be great. College is important,
It
but
is.
it's not the end. Like, you have to supplement your learning.
Yeah.
You have to do other stuff to make it valuable. Like the piece of paper in and of itself doesn't have any value.
No.
So, but I love on them. I get to class, we're excited. They know all my business
Ah,
within reason. Like, I'm very transparent with them, with my business. They know everything from what I do to how much money I make. Like, I want it to be a very honest, like, this isn't, I'm superior and you're not. I'm
right,
facilitating learning. Some of the stuff you already know. You're
right.
doing these things. You just don't maybe have a definition to it or an example for it. But we unpack all kinds of things. And I think they don't know how, like I told them how old I am, but a lot of the professors are a little bit older.
They look
And
up.
there's not many of color, so that's another thing. Like, some of my classes don't have any Black students, so
Interesting.
representation is everything. And to be excited about teaching is important, going in there and just, this is what we're going to learn today. No, we're gonna jam out. I have a membership to the master class. So we watched Usher the other day. I was
Yeah.
like, these are transferable skills. He's an entertainer. I can't sing and dance, but he's talking about presentation. He's talking about performance. Like, these are transferable skills. You do not have to learn everything by the textbook. But yeah, I have a good time with them.
Hey,
And the high schoolers, they ask the craziest questions, but they're learning.
right.
And I think it's so important to be transparent with students. Like, that's not appropriate question, or that's none, you don't want to say none of your business, but no, they're curious. They're curious. Even when they ask questions about entrepreneurship, like, how much money you make. It's not a secret. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's really not a secret. You need to know that this year I made nothing. And this year I made something, and what was the difference? Let's unpack it. Let's get out the whiteboard and see what
Yeah.
Professor David did terribly wrong and what she did right.
Yeah.
So yeah, I love teaching. Absolutely love it.
The transparency, I like the transparency that you have, being open. It brings a different world,
Mhm.
like you said, well, okay, even though you asked that question, I'm gonna be honest with you. You
Oh
know.
yeah.
And this was the type of person you were growing up too, right? You know,
I was, but I didn't understand it.
didn't understand it.
I didn't understand it. It wasn't really supported. Entrepreneurship was not supported at all. It was like, get you a real job. So I was curious,
True.
um, but I don't know. A lot of things just wasn't supported, which is probably why I love on the students even more, because I was always the same, but it was like, a calm down, like, kind of lower your energy, or
Right.
when it comes to transparency, don't tell people all your business.
Right.
So it wasn't, who I am now is kind of like I'm gonna do what I want. This feels natural. This is okay. But growing up, it was always kind of like trying to like put me not in a box, but like, keep me contained to some extent. But it's
You gotta be unapologetically yourself.
yes,
Yeah. That's
yes,
what it is. You like, look, I'm me. You can take it, but I was honest. So that's the most important thing, right? All right,
right.
that's pretty dope. Like I said, transparency growing up it wasn't as open, and but that did lead you to being the person you are today. And so, how did you honestly start the road of entrepreneurship? We know that growing up you had this in you, being transparent, although it wasn't as open. You know, you didn't understand it. As you grew up, you start to understand more. So what led you to the road of entrepreneurship?
Um, Curiosity.
Mm.
I didn't really I didn't use the word entrepreneurship for a really long time. Um, but I had entrepreneurial things that I was doing, and no one knew what to do with it. Like, for example, when I was in Alfred, I kept starting organizations. It was like, there's no debate team, I'm gonna start a debate team, and I kept starting organizations. And no one said, well, maybe you're creative. It was just kind of, okay, let her do it. And then the last year I was there, I started this calendar of men against domestic violence. And, I put together this whole thing with taking pictures, and, they had video. And I called this organization in California and I was like, hey, if you send me some stuff, I'll send you some money. And they was like, okay. And did this thing and raised this money. so I knew that I could do things, but it just wasn't a term for it. It was, and even, I graduated, I got a job, and I was frustrated in my job because they wouldn't let me create anything, like
Mm,
it was, well, this is how we do it.
right.
This is what we stick to. So I didn't have any room to like, well, what about this? And it was, that's how I really just kind of went rogue. It was, I need to create stuff. Like the money it wasn't really the first thing on my mind. It was, I need to create. I feel constricted, like I feel like I can't, like everything's black and white. I like a little color. So that's how I got started. And then there wasn't even a lot of supports for entrepreneurship. Like there was none. There were a couple of programs, and even then, entrepreneurship, it has become a buzzword.
Yeah.
But now there's like co-working spaces, and there's grants and loans. But in the beginning, they was like, we just want to entertain your hobby. um,
Basically.
yeah. So now I don't even know if I consider myself an entrepreneur now. I don't think I do sometimes. I think now it's kind of like I run a business, but
Yeah.
I don't, I don't know. I got to think about that term. I use it, but I guess I got to redefine it for myself. But I love all things with it.
Hey, hey, I agree. I agree. It allows you to be creative. It's an environment. It's your environment. And one thing that I learned that it's unlimited, right? And the only way it can be constricted with rules or regulations if you do it.
Mhm,
And then that's also could be what is it called? It could be a double sword
mhm.
because again, you can create a lazy environment or you can create a productive environment. You can create a positive environment, like you said, or you have unlimited ways to create negative, you know. But entrepreneurship thrives off of your passion and what you want to give back. And that's something that no matter what I did in life, even sports, playing sports, like it's taught you how to be a team player, how to be a leader. But I honestly didn't understand at the end of the day why I could find myself was because I liked it to create. I liked it to write. I liked poetry, but and I was an athlete, so I just thought basketball was gonna be, and then that led me to the army. So I thought army was gonna be, but I was still in school. Like people start finding like in college, they was like, "What did you do?" Like I went through so many classes in a day, and they didn't even know. Like,
Mhm.
you came here, like, like I love to read, and they always would tease me in college. Like, she always got her book bag and her laptop. I do because I'm chilling with y'all, but I still need to pass my class in the morning. So
Mhm.
we just doing it here. We just chilling. We just a bunch of people like grouped together. So I'm just like, okay, we could be studying too. So I started like seeing how people start bringing their laptops, or they like, hey, what is this? I'll help you with your homework. I'm not gonna be the reason you fail. I'm not gonna be like, I didn't turn my homework in yesterday because I was with friends. This is y'all house. I walked here. It's okay. I'm gonna do my homework. I was unapologetically always doing my homework in the military too. I would read regulations. Like I wanted to know if you tell me something, I want to know if it's true.
Yeah,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. We have that in
It's
common.
true. I want to know it's true. Not to do anything for us like overpowering anybody, stepping on nobody's toes. I just don't like being taught like false information because you can tell me the truth. You know,
Mhm.
transparency. Because I want to tell the truth. I don't want to tell false information. You know, so if they say tell me where to go find it, I'm gonna go read it. I'm gonna go research it. I want to know. So that's how I was in the military too. It was the same. You know, in school, military was the same because military goes about school. That's how you get your rank up, and it was about the value that you give to your soldiers, you know, what you teach them, not all about just coming to make money, me personally, you know.
Right.
But that was
Yep.
just me. And then once I came into entrepreneurship, I found out these were just attributes and skills that I already had. You know, I just now you got to speak up a little more. People actually want to hear your story when at first it didn't matter your story. You know, I just got to shoot, play ball. I didn't have to tell my story, or I went through the military and something happened. So I don't have to tell my story. I'm in school. I'm behind a book, right? But
Mhm.
entrepreneurship make you tell your story.
Yeah.
Make you step out. And that's why, you know, creating the PG podcast wouldn't even just let me do it for the money. Like you said, I just want to reach people. I want to reach people that maybe I had to, back in the day, you had to get in a car and travel, but I can just hit a button now and just be talking to another person. Right. So I was
That's
like,
so
let's do it.
cool.
All right. That's cool. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's see how far my creativity can go with this, and it's going strong today. It's starting off 100 plays. Now it's up to thousands of people are
That's
listening to this. And it's
awesome.
like, bro, I don't even care. It's like, I care about the value in the people that I meet. I meet up with people like Kenyana David. That's who I meet up to. Positive people, because it's a positive energy generations,
Yeah.
levels to come. And that's dope. That's dope. And this entrepreneur, I'm gonna say, you say you don't really use the word entrepreneur, but this grind, this passion you have to inspire and give back. Is that the reason why 8118 was created? And we talked about why you were created, but what are some values, some missions that you put behind it that you really wanted people to know when you see the word 8118, it speaks for itself.
Um, honestly, maybe I will start using entrepreneur more.
Yeah.
But I really, the focus is to get female entrepreneurs in a headspace of you can do this
Mm-hmm.
your way. With email marketing, it's all about, with any relationship, it's all about transparency, it's all about authenticity, using your voice. You don't have to, you don't have to make up a conversation,
Nah.
and you don't have to, use all the trending language, to kind of connect with people. How do you do it normally? That works. That works for you. You have friends, you have, coworkers or colleagues, or, people that that look forward to seeing you, to talking to you. That works. It's tried and tested. I think just sometimes we're not used to hearing our own voice. And with 8118, that's what it's all about. Um, me, having conversations with other female entrepreneurs and allowing them to hear what they actually said to me.
Right.
That's your email.
Right.
Like, don't overthink it. Don't stress yourself out. Am I doing it the right way? Just be authentic. Obviously, the goal with email marketing, in and of itself, is to make money. But how do you ask for money? It might not be buy now. It could be you want to tell a story and give them a reason. Figuring out what that looks like for you. Um, but I think there's this idea, especially with women and female entrepreneurs, that you have to be aggressive, you have to be assertive, you have to ask for what you want, but in a transactional sort of way. And we rewrite emails and we rewrite, how we're going to ask 15 different ways, when a simple, the way we normally do it. I don't just ask people, will you buy my thing? I don't do that. I say, this is, something I really think can help you. And of course, there's a value, there's a price tag to it, but more importantly, this can help you, and this is how it can help you. And it's a conversation, inviting somebody to, a master class. Yeah, the master class is $200, but we're not talking about the price. We know that there's a price. This is a transaction in
Transaction.
and of itself, but this master class will really help you do this thing. And this is the things that I talked about. So that's how I sell. And I don't teach anybody how to sell in a particular way. It's just finding your jam and using that and tweaking it where it's beneficial to you. It serves you. Because I do feel like there's an I in impact and there's an I in income as well. However,
Hey.
you don't have to be, buy, or have these long emails to tell all your business and call her sis 16 times. Like, you don't have to do all that stuff. It doesn't have to have any bedazzled, frames and, confetti jumping out of places. Like, just have a normal
No.
conversation. So that's the mission, just kind of um, conversations, relational marketing. That's
And
it.
with the relational marketing, going through and teaching so many women, right, like how to do this, and let them know that you can speak and it don't have to be aggressively. You can tell someone your value and without actually just punching a sale. Is that what led you to what that FEME, FEMME?
Oh, Fem
Yeah,
Academy?
FEM Academy. Yes, I was like, I'm not the one with vibrations. Don't get mad at me. But I
It's okay.
FEMME. I knew the abbreviations though. All right. So is that what led you to creating that academy?
Yes, because the thing with email marketing and the thing with sales, the thing with relationships, it's not a one-off. It's not a masterclass. It's not a webinar. It's not, you show up one time and you're super. It's a continual, it's a
Right.
series of, um, there's different parts to actually making money with email marketing. It's building the list. That's the thing that you do over and over and over. How are you going to do it? Are you going to use a quiz? Are you going to use, what's your jam? There's sending emails. There's a point where you make money, but you're not making a return on investment. Then you're making a
Right.
return on investment, but you're not making a profit. Like it's a longer term thing. And with the academy, it's continual conversations, it's continual support. We have study halls, we have labs, we have master classes, where you can just continuously work on it. Of course, it's membership based, but the focus is progress. There's touch
Mhm.
points, there's access to myself, there's access to the other members, with the action lab. What are you working on? We have the study halls, the co-working sessions. So the focus is on just focusing on progress. Um, so, and making that very clear that you're not going to become a super at anything one time. You buy something and all of a sudden, you're doing all the things. You have to keep working at it. So the academy is set up like school, like you're going to keep taking classes, you're going to keep trying things, you're going to keep, you know, um, connecting with, facilitator, to kind of, is this working?
Right.
Sending emails to people. So we have a good time.
Hey, it sounds like a lot of value. Definitely got to check it out. It sounds like a lot of value. And the fact that I see that it's so many people, such as like yourself, that's out here giving that type of resource back, the community needs it. Like, we needs it because they're not teaching this in school.
No.
They're not teaching this in school, you know, and that one-on-one that you get, that mentorship that you get, you definitely can't pay the value for it. Like, I feel like it's one of those unpriceable things. Like, you say, oh, if 2,000 is your price, 2,000 is your price, you better be teaching me 2,000 worth of value. You know what I'm saying? Like,
Mhm.
I want to know, if you say 2,000, I'm coming in and get a lot of value from you, a lot of
Right.
value from you.
And I
And
think
I
that's
think
the
people see that.
focus, like focusing on the value, not the price. You know, when it comes to like relational marketing, building that relationship of we're going to do this together. We're going to figure out where the areas of opportunity are, and we're gonna do it. And um, it's working for those who are involved. That's
Mm.
what they're working on. But with all things, you got to keep at it.
Gotta keep grinding. You are a woman of all things. You know what I'm talking, full of books. You also is an adjunct professor. Now, this is my first time hearing that. Now, I must was reading the wrong books, because you read definitely look like you read a whole lot of books. But I know some people out there that knows what an adjunct professor, but you also have experience at the Medilla College. I hope I'm saying that college right.
Oh,
Medelia
no worries. Yeah, I'm an adjunct at Madai.
Adjunct at Madai. All right.
Mhm.
See, I was butchering that college name. All right. So don't sue me. I'm terrible with names. But where's that college located?
It's right here in Western New York. It's in Buffalo, right in the middle of the city.
Okay.
It's a private liberal arts college. And adjunct, honestly, it only means part time. That's all it
Part
means.
time.
Yeah,
Oh.
that's all it means.
That was my
Um,
first time seeing that word, so it caught me off guard. I was like,
yeah, no, it just means a part-time professor, meaning I think each college is a little different in how many classes you teach. I teach three. So Monday, Wednesday, Friday, I teach two classes, global leadership, from 8 to 9, and then 9, 10 to 10, 10. And then Tuesdays and Thursdays is marketing class from 11:10 to 12:35. So it's just part-time. That's all it is.
how's your experience there?
I am loving it.
Love
I
it.
am loving it.
So smart.
I have quite a few students this semester, but I learned all their names, so
Let them
I know who
live.
everybody is.
I
um,
got it.
and I really enjoy talking to them. There's some that have like their dog moms. Um, there's some that walk to campus, like just talking to everybody and getting to know them and kind of separating them as a student at Madai as opposed to, that's Elizabeth or, that's Christian or that's Brian. Um, and it makes their experience, I feel, better too. Like there's somebody that really cares about, I'll email. I have one student who walks a mile to work, to school. And when the weather's bad, I'm like, yeah, don't do it. Come online. Do not come outside. Or like now they're getting vaccines. So, I love it. I really like connecting with the students. It's the college experience that I wanted. I think my teachers, they had this at the time in Alfred, and I think it was just at the time of college, like that authoritarian, like I'm the teacher, you're the student, I know more than you. And I don't feel that way. I feel like you guys have experiences that I don't have.
Right.
Let's unpack it. Let's jam out. Like I know what I know. I don't know what I don't know. And they come in and we have lessons are conversations. Like, yeah, we want to use the book as a reference, but I go rogue every day. Like, nah. Um, but I absolutely love it. I love the opportunity to connect with people who need it, and this kind of to have the opportunity to support someone during that time. They're making all kinds of decisions. They're making decisions about what they want to do with their life. If they want to stay, at home with mom and dad, if they want to, like, get a job on campus, like they're making all these decisions, and to be a support, it's kind of cool. And for them to receive it,
Right.
like, they'll email, like I had, I wasn't feeling well last week. So they sent messages, are you feeling better? And then my 7-year-old has migraines. So, they always check on her, how's Marion? And it's a cool experience for both of us. Like we like coming, and it's, they're going to graduate. I'm going to graduation. I'm so excited. I have a
Hey,
list of
shout out
students that
to
are
them,
graduating,
man. That's
and I
dope.
got cards. I'm so excited. I'm so excited.
Hey, shout out to the students there. That's a big accomplishment. That's a big accomplishment, and I'm proud of
Thank
them.
you.
I'm proud of you out here impacting them. Like I said, just to have that support system, it means like I like when we had one teacher like that at school. Her name was Miss Bailey, and it was my English teacher. And I actually liked it that she didn't. She made it an open floor, and you can come to her even when you got in trouble. Teachers make you mad sometimes, and vice versa. Students make you mad sometimes, but she always was like, come. You can come to her in a grounded conversation, and or if you're upset, she'd be the teacher that you go to and talk to. And it wasn't about I'm going to send you to the office if you say this, or I'm gonna write you up if you say this. It was about what's wrong so we can fix it. And it,
Mhm.
like you said, having a support system, I can come talking to you from about things at home and how I can help myself and how you can help me in school. Like that's dope. That's dope giving back like that. That's really dope.
Yeah, and it's fun. It's really a good time. If you just receive it as well. I have a good time. I don't know about the other professors there because they be looking stressed, but
Ah, like,
um
mm-mm.
what, and I was surprised. Everybody does it differently, and I'm not throwing any shade, but I was talking to one professor and she didn't know the names of her students. And I was like, how you not know their names? You with them for 15 weeks, like how do you not know their names? But
She was like, I'm just teaching this course. I don't even know
yeah,
their names.
it's like cut my check.
That's all. That's all she came for is cut that check. She's not caring. She's not
Right.
caring. But you also giving so much value, not just in the entrepreneurship world and then in college, in everyday life. But you also wrote a book, and this book is to help give back a solution, right? A workable book, a strategy book when it comes to marketing. So they did with your organization with the theme and being an advocate and a active person in the community. Is this the reason why you wrote the book? Right? Is that the reason why you started it or wanted to write it in the beginning?
You know wanted to start the conversation. That was
So you
really
want to
it.
start a conversation, right?
That was it. A different way of thinking about strategy. I think strategy people, it's like Tetris. I got to do this. I got to do this. And it's like this is a long-term plan. In the most basic language, it's just a longer plan. That's all it is. And
That's it. Just in a different
just
language.
unpacking it a little bit by little bit. Um, so yeah, that was it. Just to start a conversation about digital marketing, really define it. It was, people typically think of it as, it's social media marketing, but it's affiliate marketing, it's referral marketing, it's all these different things. And, um, you don't know what you don't know, but when you do know, then you can have different conversations and
Yeah.
it can look different for you. But people are like overcomplicating it. And it's like, you do not need an Excel spreadsheet. Like get your notebook, what can you do? What's in your wheelhouse? What's not in your wheelhouse?
Right.
And figure out when you're going to do it. That's it. So it's a lot of worksheets as far as just what your goals are. What can you do? What you want to do? But it was just to start a different conversation relative to strategy and digital marketing.
He says it's all about the strategy. So you want to sit down and think about it first, right? You want to know how can you help it benefit yourself in growth. I think growth is the most important thing. Like when I sit down, like you said, long term plan. It's a long term plan. When I look at a long term, I always think about how much growth can I have, right? All right, I can see the value they can teach me in 6 months. I'll be in a totally different spot. I'll be in a totally different mindset. Yeah, let's do it. I'm like you, so I need we need to know the steps of how to get there. And the fact that you like, look, you're overthinking it, you're overthinking marketing, you're overthinking the strategy, and just put it in a book and make it a workable book so that you can see it on paper. That's dope. That's really dope. I say you got the mindset of everything. You're like, you don't have to think too hard.
Yeah, I think marketing, that's another like, thing people are throwing around marketing, and then it becomes all this complicated. You gotta have this, you gotta have these tools, you gotta have these resources, you gotta pay for this, you gotta do that, you gotta think about this, you gotta hire for that. It's really, real. We are consumers every day.
Mm,
We know what we like, we know how we buy. We connect with other people who buy the same way or think differently about it. It's literally just sitting down with a piece of paper and saying, the people that I sell to like this. This is in my wheelhouse. Perfect. Let's do that. It's
right.
we overcomplicate it, and I think because we just want to be great, and but we can be great. But when you understand it at the baseline, it's just simple.
Mm,
It's not. We almost do this paralysis by analysis. We overthink it, then we do nothing, and it's like, I need to market, I need to market. And sometimes marketing is not, like social media is not my jam. Like I do
no,
not market by social media. Should I, could I, would I? Absolutely. But my jam is email marketing, and that's, and LinkedIn. And that's what I go to. That's in my wheelhouse. I'm not trying to make all these things happen and stress myself out. And then you have people coming from everywhere. You don't know why, you don't know how to serve them, and it's team too much. Like you don't have to do all the things. Do the things that you can do and that you're super at, and that's it. Marketing, that's really what it comes down to. So anyway, longer story short,
no,
um,
it's so much
that's what the
value.
book is about.
I like this. I like diving into your brain because it's like you're a walking book. It's like you're a walking book, learning so much. And you also the president of now I'm with All Black. It's a Black association. The
Yeah, so the National Black
National Black
MBA.
Association. Yep. And what were some three obstacles that you went on that you faced as well as overcame when you first started say, hey, I want to be the president of the National Black Association?
Um, so here's the thing. Um, with the National Black Organization, there's like 40 chapters across the state or across the country. And I came in 2017, and I just wanted to serve. Like I just wanted to serve the Black professional community. I wanted to be a part of the things that we were doing to impact. So I came in and I served on the communications. I was the VP of communications for a couple of years, and then I moved to operations, or not operations, administration. And with president, it wasn't, I'm going to take all these steps and become president. It was the opportunity presented. Honestly, I was scared. It was like I've never been, you know, national facing in an organization. Um, I wasn't really sure of the expectations. Um, but I also knew that there is a lot of Black professionals in Western New York that need support. They need resources. They need to have conversations about, their challenges with COVID, their challenges of changing professions, their challenges of, whatever, it is. So when the opportunity, I ran. Um, and that's kind of been my focus. I don't really have any obstacles. I
Mm-hmm.
think whenever you have professional development or even academic development, you have to get personal development. So, leadership is, such a big thing. Like we all have leadership qualities, but it looks a lot different when you have a team and
Mm-hmm.
everyone is on their leadership journey. So you have the supers and you have the not yet supers, and you have to support them along the way, and getting professional development. Like, how do you communicate? How do you resolve conflict? How do you, support them? Like one of the team members just had a tragedy, or almost a tragedy. It had some sickness in the family. What does that look like leading in that personal space? Working with other people. My leadership style is not aggressive, as you can tell. I'm more relational. I don't feel that we're not going to fight. We're not doing that. But you do have those type of leaders, choosing other leaders to work with. Like, where are my areas of opportunity? That takes professional development as well. Like, what can I not do well? Like
Right.
being honest and transparent myself. What do I not need? Where do I need help? And, choosing personalities that match, but choosing people that can do things I can't do, and being okay with that, being
Yeah.
okay with everyone on the team being a leader, and having, um, decision making power. So there's not really obstacles. Um, but there are, just learning opportunities. There's areas of improvement. I'm taking so many different leadership, like the class I teach, global leadership. I read that book too, and I highlight, and I'm like, yep, I need to work on this, or this is something I need to dig deeper into. This is something I need to bring to the team. Um, but I'm loving it. I really like the opportunity to serve on this level.
Mm-hmm.
I like the opportunity to have a look down and see the overview of what Black professionals in Western New York is being faced with, and being part of that conversation of how do we change this? How are we being affected by COVID? How, entrepreneurship is a big pillar, is one of the 5 pillars of the organization. Like, what does that look like for Black professionals? You know, um, Entrepreneurs, what kind of challenges are we facing?
Right.
What supports do we need? With the PPP loans, how educated are we about what that looks like for us? It's not free money. So getting the people to come in and talk about it, making sure our community understands it,
Mm-hmm.
being a resource. It's definitely not a power move. Like, I never looked at it as a power move, and I hope that I never look at it. I think that's always kind of the focus of, are you serving every day? Are you serving? And if you're not serving, why? You know,
Mm-hmm.
what can you do? But it's a cool position to be in, because I feel like I can super serve, but at the same time, um, there's not really obstacles other than learning about myself and getting all the professional development that I need um, to be great.
Mm. That's dope. Not only that you're, like say, you're in the schools, empowering and impacting changing lives. you're changing lives at home, but you also nationally changing lives in the nationally black association. And that's just really powerful because not saying powerful like you said, it's not a powerful move. I think it's a very impactful move. Light of resource, put it that way. You became a light of resources to your community and giving back to the community. And I think so many other people around the world can gravitate to that. All right. And I think it's the world, it's a time for that. And so many people that are doing that, that like you said, spreading the awareness, raising the awareness of the National Black Association, and what the trials and tribulations were, and just understanding that this can be something that happens in your community too.
Right, right.
Bringing awareness of it. I like
And
that.
I think that's one of the coolest things about being a community advocate is, getting involved and really paying attention. A lot of things don't necessarily directly impact us, but if we allow them to continue, it will affect us.
Right.
Being proactive, um, and not so much thinking about it in self-serving, like how is this going to affect me, but um, mitigating the damages, getting out there. And I really like it. There are some really cool initiatives in the community.
Yeah.
Within organizations, I'm a part of, I don't know how many organizations, and some of the things that we just don't think about is important. Girl Scouts, I'm on the board of Girl Scouts, and, being able to look down and see how few Black and Brown girls are in Girl Scout,
Mm.
and how few Black and Brown parents know all of the benefits of Girl Scouts, the scholarships, the traveling, the, um, you know, all the opportunities available to the girls. They don't know. And being able to look down and say, okay, this is a problem.
Yeah.
This is a problem. I have daughters, and yeah, we're gonna fix this. Or even being on boards and seeing how few women or how few Black and Brown people are on the board. Why is it I'm the only one? Let's have a conversation about that, because I'm not lonely, but this is not going to work.
Right.
Like,
I
why
like
is that? Are you not communicating with the community that these opportunities are open? Are we not understanding, what the responsibilities are? You know, um, but when you advocate, it opens so many doors,
it does.
for other people, because no one knows what they don't know. And there's a lot of stuff going on in the community. And for some reason, I don't know why, they don't make it to a larger conversation, but we hear about all the nonsense. So I
Right.
can go on about that, but I
I
digress.
agree. I was a Girl Scout. I
You
was,
were,
I was a Girl Scout. My
don't
mother
you get it?
definitely had me in Girl Scout, and I enjoyed it because I did go on trips. And the mothers on to that, they like you said, if there was anybody there that couldn't go on something, no, there wasn't no I can't go. We're all going, and they made sure that the experience was beautiful. And that was something my mom did make me do. Even if I'm like, I don't want to sell cookies. I don't want to go to I don't want to go to this event. She's like, you can go. She had my brother in Boy Scouts. So I think that's dope. I do think that more Black and Brown culture kids should definitely check that out. Like myself, I loved it. And then my mom would make me like, you're going, and so being an active member, saying that this needs to be more out there and bringing it more awareness to our community, we need that. We need
What
that.
do we do? And I think knowing, they always say knowledge is power. I half agree with it. I think what you do with knowledge is power.
It's
And we
power. Yeah.
know that things are happening and we're not having conversations about it, which is like, oh, it doesn't really affect me. Or, my daughter is too old for Girl Scout, or I don't even have a daughter. But there's just so many opportunities that exist or that can be created. Entrepreneurs
Mhm.
on boards are so beneficial because we just see things differently. We can literally make something out of nothing. We can come up with ideas that they're not thinking about, like how do we reach, more girls for Girl Scout? that entrepreneurial mindset, you could think of 10 things out the gate. They're still taking notes, so I think, giving back in that way and getting involved and getting engaged. And that representation is everything. Representation is so important, whether it's age, whether it's race, whether it's ability, whether it's gender, like just being that person is impactful in and of itself. Like I love, we don't do it anymore, but like the street feeds where the city mission comes out and feed the home. I have the best conversations while I'm serving people, and they have the dopest stories. They
Yeah.
are funny, they are energetic, and they are not all of them. We think, oh, they must be miserable because of whatever circumstances. Some of them are just grateful to be alive, and it makes you really appreciate things.
Yeah.
So I fix a plate and go sit with them. I have a great time, and but it's so many opportunities in the community to connect with people and really find out what the problem is. We think we know the problem because it's not our problem. So it's like, oh,
Right.
it's because they're homeless because they drank their money, or they're on drugs, or they got 6 kids. And it could be a fire, something that can happen to you tomorrow.
Yeah, something can change your life in the instance today and tomorrow will
Right.
be different. That's
And
so
you have a conversation with them, and they are just so happy, and they feel so blessed, and that energy rubs off, and it is a good feeling, man. It's a good feeling.
it is. And I like that not only you're doing it to all ages, but you start early within the Girl Scouts. That's something that you teach early to children, that you said energy is transferable, and not
Mhm.
being able to just judge someone about their situation on the outside, because it can be a total different story once you sit down and talk to them. Being homeless, a lot of kids go through that, but a lot of them don't, like you said, don't share their experience. Like some are too scared to talk about that they be homeless, or some make an everyday life every day to not ever be homeless. That's the circumstances and situation. And I preach that to all my bosses and anyone that I teach and speak to. I appreciate circumstances and situations. They don't change. Whether you have money today or you have money tomorrow. If you have a poor psychology, your psychology is going to be bad. So money is never going to be a reason why you kill yourself. Your psychology is.
Right.
I've been that soldier that's been on suicide watch, and one thing I learned, it was all about myself in that moment. Like it's either me, there are other people around me was very concerned, right? And so you can't just not speaking it and saying that, oh well, he's suicidal, he's crazy, or she's suicidal, she's crazy. Circumstances, situations not going to change just because I have these thoughts today, just because I have these thoughts tomorrow. It's not going to change. You just work about all you got to focus on is getting better today, getting better tomorrow. How many times did I have these thoughts tomorrow, and can I have less the next day? Right? Not taking that energy and rubbing off the next person because I'm upset. I can't get my energy right. Nah, you learn to adjust with it. You learn to grow with it. And that's what I feel like if I had learned that at an early age, maybe after the military, after all this trauma, after all these things I've been through in life, wouldn't have been faced so hard. Like you said, I would have saw it as, oh, that was just a lesson. Oh, that was a lesson. But it took longer for it to be noticeable. So now that our kids around the world and generations to come and before they can break that cycle, they can now start to express that. Say that
Mhm.
it's okay that I went through that, but I am who I am today. Not
Right.
being afraid to speak on that. Like, were you ever homeless? Yes, I was homeless. If I had, maybe you ate out the trash a couple of times, but that's not who I am today. I'm just
Right.
telling you where I came from. You know,
Right.
and I like that even as in the young people in the community, you're impacting them in that way, and that leads to the Mona's Project. You're also an active member in the Mona's Project too, the Mona's House. How did you, like you say you talking about trafficking, women's trafficking? Why did you feel like it was so important for you to raise awareness about that, and why being an active member is important for you?
Well, so with being with Mona's House, I serve as a volunteer, and I'm just hyper aware that sex trafficking, especially being right there with Canada, is a reality. Um, and I have children. I have two daughters that it happens so fast with sex trafficking. And honestly, when I went in, I thought sex trafficking was literally someone put you in a van and then kind of like pimp you out. But I didn't realize that it could be a boyfriend who is taking pictures of you or taking video of you and selling it online and trafficking you that way. You're still, and you have girls that are still going to school every day. They're still in Girl Scout, but this is happening behind the scenes.
Mm.
You have a couple of years ago, like before COVID, they were doing zip ties on cars, and they had this this announcement with the news to if you see a a zip tie on your car, go back in the store or something. And it was because supposedly traffickers were identifying women that were alone.
Mm.
So they'll spend that time trying to get the zip tie off, and then they can basically kidnap her.
Mm.
And then you have women that have been trafficked, that's just kind of in that industry. That's what they know, and they're being used to traffic other women. And it's one of those things. It can really happen to anyone, and you don't even you didn't see it coming. So being aware that it's happening, and not judging someone when it does happen. Like, well, you could have just left, or we have all these things of what we could have, should have, would have.
Right.
If it was us, and listening to these women and their stories of. One really bothered me. She went to go visit a friend, and it was another woman, and she got there and she was kind of like, I'm gonna stay for a little while, but there was no furniture or anything. Come to find out, her friend trafficked her to get money to pay her tuition. So she went there thinking she was going to visit a friend in Africa. She get there, basically she's held for 2 weeks, trafficked for 2 weeks with a lot of men, and they kicked her out. So she had nothing. So she basically had to pimp herself out to even get clothes and food and shelter, because that's all she knew. And you figure the trauma, and to be involved in the community. One of the things as an entrepreneur, a business owner, whatever, and being involved in the community, it keeps you grounded.
Right.
Because, as entrepreneurs, as creatives, we create our narrative. Like we can have a day where we create an email sequence and we are feeling like a superstar, and that's our world. Like we are on top of the world, or we, get a contract and make a lot of money, and that's our narrative. So I like being involved in the community. I like giving back. I like being very, very close to reality. Being close to, like the street feed, and doing that, and being one centered and humbled all the time. Like, yes, it's a blessing that this contract went through and there's some security for a couple months, but the reality is somebody else's didn't. Somebody else has lost their home, and you need to be hyper aware that this is what's going on outside your bubble, so that you use your money wisely. You think, ahead. You stay modest, you stay humble, and with Mona's house, just knowing that it can happen so quickly, like, and I'm a person, if I see somebody and they need help with their groceries, I could say a quick prayer, keep me safe, but I also know that this scenario can happen. This can be anything. I'm just doing, what I think and feel is the right thing to do at the moment. But, that's how some women are trafficked, Kids are trafficked all the time. Children, they're playing with other kids, and then something extraordinary happens. A mother is trafficked. One mother trafficked her daughter, and her two daughters. One was like 9 and the other one was like 6, and she was trafficking them on a regular basis. And my daughter's 7. So for a while I kept just staring at my daughter, because it was messing with my head. Like, she's a child. Like, she's a child. She's running around in a unicorn skirt, and And I'm thinking, who thinks like that? But there are people that
There's
think like
people
that.
that do. There's
Yeah, I
people that
really,
do. Hmm.
I really had to do some, even, personal development with that. Like, you know, what do I think about, say, prostitution? Do I have unconscious bias? Am I judging people as opposed to how did this happen? Why is this happening? Is it something that they are, they're not even wanting to do? And I participated in uh, it was what do you call those things? I don't know. It's kind of like a cancel the culture kind of thing, but like with Pornhub, a petition, to get rid of that because one mother had been looking for her daughter, and somebody said, I saw your daughter. They had made 19 videos of her, and they were all on Pornhub. That's how she found her child.
That's crazy.
And I was just thinking, like, I can't sit and know that this is happening, and all somebody's doing is asking me to sign a petition to get it offline. That's all they're asking me to do. They're not
Right.
asking for any money. They're not asking for more than a minute of my time. But there was a petition to shut down Pornhub because they found out that a lot of the women there were being trafficked. They were not these porn stars that we thought that they were. They were somebody's 16-year-old daughter.
That's
You know,
crazy.
it is
That's
very
crazy.
crazy.
I used
It's
to live
very
in
crazy.
New Mexico, so I'll be right there by the border, and like they, the craziest little thing, like I used to live right across from this elementary school, and it was pretty cool for what I knew. It was a very safe neighborhood, and then all of a sudden, that school, every time I turned around, they had like a shutdown over there, and then the cops would be over there because they was snatching kids off of that school ground, and it was kids with melanin in their skin, and it started to get real bad. Like, and I'm just like, my first question wasn't even why. It had to been an inside job because my child knows that's not my car. So it's
Mhm.
kind of hard these days to tell a child to get in the car that's not theirs. So it,
Mhm.
it was like, why is this person inside the school? Like,
Right.
what is the purpose? Because like you said, I'm looking at my child like I would never harm them. I would never do anything to my kids. I would never bring hurt to life. Their children, like you said, run around in a unicorn skirt. Why would I break that imagination? But there is people that do
Right.
at that age, and just trafficking children itself. I would never want to be a part of that. And like you said, I can't judge the one that seek that life and because they don't have no way out, but they was a part of their life as a kid. They was trafficked and then like you said, thrown out, and now I gotta find my way out in the regular world. But I don't know what the regular world is. No, I don't have no money. I know how to get the money, and it's a sad thing. It's not always women out there prostituting because they want to. It's a survival, and like you said, the Mona House, I think it's a really good awareness to it because it's bringing more on top of the surface. And then
Right.
that it can happen to you. Like I had same thing. They would tell us certain things like in New Mexico, there's people impersonating a cop, so if you get pulled over, you pull over at like you gotta pull over by a restaurant, pull over where it's people, because they would have the cop uniform and everything, but it wasn't the real cop.
You know what? That's so crazy. That's so crazy. You know what? That's another thing too. Like with my market being female entrepreneurs, um, you know, when I think of like relationships with your audience, like what does their life look like? How to,
Right.
what really is their world, and not like the textbook, what magazines they read and do they live in the city or not, but just kind of for me, it's really important to be involved in all things female, how they learn, their families, their family dynamics, things like Mona's house. Like, I don't talk about it within like the Femme Academy or anything, but um, being a face, they see me outside of the business. Our only relationship is not you giving me money for something. You see me in the
Right.
community, or you see me, um, you know, I- in your city doing something. Like, it's, there's a deeper part of that relationship. Like we're in this together. We all doing the same thing.
Right.
And with Mona's house, some of them, they were business owners. They did have aspirations to be an entrepreneur. Some of them, some of the women are so dope that are, we don't like to call them survivors, but they're survivors and not victims. And they want to do some cool things like, some of them just getting an apartment is a huge thing, like it's scary. They want, one to start a business, and it is so cool. It's so cool to see a woman take back her power and doing it afraid,
Right.
afraid of who's going to see me, who's going to recognize me, who's going to say that they know me or they think they know me, who's going to try to find me. And it's such a power for everyone involved to see that, it's so cool.
And shout out to everyone at the Mona House and every woman that comes through there, I'm not saying find it, but regaining their power because it was already there, regaining their power and finding out who they are in the inside, aligning with themselves. That's not an easy thing to do, especially like you said, being lost in so much trauma, but they're facing it every day and they're conquering it. So shout out to everyone involved with that project, with that house, and everyone that comes in and just wants to seek more for themselves. That's dope. That's the type of thing we need in the community. Those are the type of resources we need to give back because it's happening not just in Buffalo or in Canada, but it's happening in New Mexico. It's happening in Texas. And I preach to my girls like to me, I tell them like you go outside in the front, but I'm telling you, don't go certain paths, but not because I'm telling you because I'm being mean. It's because of where we are. To you, this is a playful playground. But I blink my eyes and you're gone. I can't get you back. I can go and I can try, but that is a hard situation. And I don't know how to face something like that. That's a journey that you can't tell someone how to react, how to feel, how to cope, but you can inspire them. You can bring back empowerment. And I like that you're also showing them how to motivate themselves too. So appreciate everything you're doing. I appreciate everyone that's like into that house, and just the fact that you're giving so many women a voice, that especially the ones that thought they didn't have a voice.
Yeah.
That's crazy. That's real crazy. Is there any books that since you work with so many people, women, trauma women, students, is there any books, 3 books that you would tell people that like, hey, read to find inspiration, or even just you can tell to an entrepreneur regardless of the value, 3 books that you have read that brought you value?
um I like reading autobiographies. And
Mm.
I don't necessarily read like get better business books. I like reading stories. One of the stories I really appreciate was the T-Boz story,
Mm.
her book. That she had sickle cell, and her whole career, like her whole career, that we know all the performances, all the award shows, all the music videos, she was battling sickle cell.
That's crazy.
And she was hospitalized for like in different cities and states. Like, so for me, documentaries really, or not documentaries, autobiographies really center um, me, and their transferable skills. Like with the T-Boz story, there's that push through, but there's also, that main focus on the goal, staying positive. All these interviews and all these things that you saw when she, with TLC, she was energetic, she was positive, but she was sick,
Yeah.
and so a lot of the books that I would recommend center around that one. That's the one that comes to mind, the one that I have read more than once. But all of them have such good stories. And I also really like documentaries. I know you asked about books, but like
Mhm.
documentaries. I do more watching documentaries than reading, just based on capacity. But it's the same thing, like I love a good nonfiction story. And I also like things that align with my focus. So even with books, say like the T-Boz, um, the idea of doing a whole bunch of things, like when somebody looks at my stuff on paper, it's like you're doing this, you're doing this, you're doing this. It's really important for me to keep that positive energy every day and to be
Yeah.
excited and enthusiastic, because there, for me, is to show you you can do a bunch of things and still live life, still be happy. Like it's not, people think, oh, I can't work and go to school. And there may be other challenges, but if those challenges are there, you totally can do it. And
Yeah.
it doesn't make you stressed out. It doesn't make you a mean person. It doesn't make you an unlikable person. You can do a bunch of things. And obviously you build a little bit more each time and really enjoy it. People are like, I'm so stressed out, I'm so busy. And that's their reason for being mean to you, or then that's their
Mhm.
reason for not calling you back, or that's their reason for throwing shade all the time. It's like, you could be doing all the things and be just excited about life, and it looks better. It makes,
True.
the goal is for other people to feel like, I could take on a little bit more. I can do a little bit more. I can be a community advocate. I can teach if I want to. I can do all the things at the same time, and it can still look like it looks like right now. It's important for my girls to see mommy's doing a lot of stuff, but she appears happy. It's not like, I remember growing up, my mom worked 2 jobs and she was always tired, and my thought process was, when I get older, I don't want to work 2 jobs because I don't want to be that tired.
Anytime.
When it was just the energy, and with my mom, that was the genuine mood, but I'm like hyper aware. When people see me out, my children see me, I need to be excited. I'm not doing bad things. Like, I'm doing all the things I want to do. But you can walk and chew bubble gum, like,
Yeah.
you can do more than one thing and still have the same energy level, still be a likable person. And, so that's really important. But those books, that one comes to mind right away, that I've read recently. That was her energy.
Yeah.
TLC, every time they showed up, I was ready.
Yeah,
You
she
know,
had that energy. She was ready, and you can tell about all the things that went on with her behind the scene. You can tell,
right.
that's that energy I get. From you. You got this energy. Like I'm over here thinking like how like you have so much that you do in this 24, same 24 that everyone else has. I'm like, I need to up it. Oh yeah, like I need to up it, you got so
Yes,
much going
yes,
on. And you just still so energetically, and that lets me know that it's not anything you're doing. You say I'm tired. That's okay. I'm tired, but energetically, I'm positive. I'm still going. I'm ready to go. I don't have to show it on my face. I don't have to wear that every day. And that's what's one thing. It's like working out. I started figuring out like that. It's like working out. Every day you work out, you'll be sore, right?
mhm,
When you like, I don't want to go. I don't want to go to the gym tomorrow or in the morning, but you make it a commitment to go to the
mhm.
gym. And when you go, there's a change that you sore. You still gonna be sore. You just sore with a completed workout. Right.
Yeah,
Yeah.
you can do it. You can totally
Yeah.
do it. You are a unicorn. You are not a horse. You can
Yeah.
do
Let's
all
go.
kinds of things. But you know what? Honestly, when you're doing the things that you like, and they're impactful to you and they're important, you show up. Like, there's
Yeah.
times I'm tired, but my tired probably looks a little different. Like, I'm still smiling, I'm still happy. It's just, I know I need to take a nap, but it's not like I can half show up with the excuse that I'm tired. Like, that's not
Yeah.
okay. It's not okay. Like, that's nobody's problem but mine.
But yeah.
So but my tired looks different because I've figured out my capacity. A nap is important.
But you
Nap for
still
self
so
care.
much value though. Like the impact that I've got just been on this podcast with you today is like out the roof. All right.
That's
I
awesome.
saw your bio. I'm like, oh yeah. She's so full of knowledge, man. And then the fact that you're the president of the National Black Association, I'm like, wow, that's crazy. Not only you're in the schools and college, you're plugged in with this the Girl Scouts and the youth. So you're like, I'm not leaving no one out. I'm getting touched in with the youth. I'm getting touched in with college students all over the world, all ages. And now I'm touched in with the National Black Association across the world. That's so dope. Right. And it makes me, just being on this platform with you, it makes me very honored, because I'm like, I can do more in my life too. It gives me that the empowerment that I can do more in my life too, and give back bigger ways. And knowing that the path that I'm on is aligned on a great path like yours, right? So I
Yes,
can do it too, right? I can do
you
it
are
too.
doing the things too.
Yeah,
I check you out. You doing the things too.
yeah. Gotta stay with it, gotta stay positive, like you said. I'm like you, my tire looks a little different. And sometimes I ain't gonna lie, sometimes I show up, they're like, bro, what's wrong with your face? It has tired written over it, but I'll get over it. Just give me 5 minutes and I'm gonna come rejuvenated. And you'll never know, like, oh, you're tired and you went through like 4 or 5 hours of sessions. Yeah, I went straight 4 or 5 hours, or 18 hours. I went 18 hours, and you would have never known because I didn't show it. I'll show it right before, like, hold on, give me my moment.
Yep,
Hey, let's go. Let's get it.
for sure, for sure.
Let's get it. So, hey, I'm honored to just have shared this podcast with you and everyone around the world that's listening, watching, tuning in. I know they're just as grateful as I am, and if they not, that they just replay it. They'll get some more gratefulness afterward. It's okay. We'll still be here to give them more gratefulness. So, look, leave a message that's going to resonate even after you're gone, right? I want someone to know, like, hey, Kenyana David said this and it stuck with me. So leave a message that's going to resonate, all the listeners and all the watchers.
Give yourself grace.
Mm,
Like, just be kind to yourself. There are days when you are super and you lit, and
yeah.
there are days that you're not, and don't apologize. There's other language that you can use other than I'm sorry. Thanks for your patience. I appreciate you, giving me this space. But be kind to yourself. Everything is a step, and sometimes we misstep. I mess up at least 3 things every day.
Man,
Just because of whatever. But just be kind and listen to your body. Like, there are best practices. Everybody's saying, entrepreneurs get up early, and entrepreneurs do this, and entrepreneurs do that.
yeah.
Give yourself grace.
It's,
Whatever's your jam, that's what you do.
and
And I think that's a thing that we don't always do. We're constant comparing ourselves, and, well, this person's doing that, so I'm going to do this, and then I'm going to do that, and then we get overwhelmed and we shut down and we do nothing. And it's because we didn't give ourselves grace. We didn't say, you know what, today I look like what I'm going through, so I'm going to go to all
yeah.
my Zoom meetings off camera. And it's okay, and not apologize for, I'm sorry I'm not on camera, and just say, you know what, today is a day I prefer not to be on camera, and I appreciate your support with it.
Yeah.
That's it.
Unapologetically yourself.
Right. Yes. Just giving yourself grace. I think every day being conscious of, what you feel like it, every day, every moment, and preparing yourself. If you're showing up is, confetti and smiling, that's what it looks like. But if it's not, still show up, but give yourself grace for how you show up, and just be accountable. So that's
Show up gracefully. I like that. Let's go. Hey,
yeah.
shout your social media where everybody can go tune in after this podcast. Still, they want to follow you. What are your social media that they can follow you on?
LinkedIn is my jam. And you can go right to KenyanaDavid.com. I just rerouted it because it's the easiest thing ever. But LinkedIn, I like to connect on LinkedIn. I like to see what we have in common, and taking out all the aesthetics of it, and just kind of, this is your jam, this is my jam, and connecting. And connect with me. It doesn't have to be business stuff. Like, I like to talk about all kinds of, I like to talk about food. I
Hey,
like to talk about, my jam is book adaptations. I'm watching Clarice right now, and I've got
like
some
comic
feelings
books
about
too,
it.
huh?
Huh?
You like comic books too, right?
Yes, comic book. Ooh, ooh, ooh. So I know we got to wrap it up, but book adaptations is my jam. Right now, have you read Silence of the Lambs, the Hannibal series?
No, I have not. Hmm.
It'll change your life. So they have the Hannibal series, And then they have the Hannibal TV series, and now they just did Clarice. I feel some type of way because I'm not impressed. However, I watch it nonetheless. And I'm not a TV person, but adaptations, Clockwork Orange has a video game. I do not play video games, but that one, I tried it. And I got sidetracked because I got really excited about that. But
no, brother, it's a comic book. So when you said, I saw like you was like a lot of things that comic books stood out the most. I was like, yeah, full of knowledge, full of knowledge.
Comic books, graphic novels. I have such a collection, Char, like so many I collect that I have insurance on them. Like it is my jam. I'm all, scouring. I have my husband on eBay. Like I need my stuff, but comic books, especially, that's an adaptation.
Are you a Marvel or DC?
You know what? Comic books in and of itself, I'm not, but if it's an adaptation.
Is that adaptation? Okay.
Yeah, it has to be a book adaptation.
I like that.
Anything that's a book adaptation. I don't care what genre. Like, it doesn't even matter. Even Candyman is coming out. And I don't know if you ever, Candyman.
Oh, yeah, I love Candyman.
So I'm scared. I don't do horror. However, it's based on a chapter in a book. So I'm there.
Let's go. I actually like that. Actually, as a kid, I didn't really like it as much because it scared me. Like the boogeyman didn't scare me. Jeepers Creepers didn't scare me. He did though. He did. I was like, I didn't want to go in the bathroom. My cousin would say, don't say that. No, leave the door open, bro. I need the lights on. I was afraid of the dark for a minute. Don't cut the lights off. But hey, I actually want to see that movie. I want to see it. Like you said, that's a classic book. And they would just say, is it better than the book they're saying, or is it 10 times?
So it's based on a chapter in a book. And
I want to see that.
It's so there's been a few different Candymans and a few different versions. And Candyman was actually some of the pieces were based off a true story. A woman in Chicago, her house, somebody broke into her house through the bathroom window and killed her. Those pieces are in the book.
Let's go.
I mean, in the movie. Yeah, I love adaptation. I love anything. It doesn't. Oh, we should.
Hey, they want to know more. They gotta tune into you. They gotta go follow you on LinkedIn. They gotta hit you up on social media, and we gonna talk about it. We gonna chop it up because I want to know. I want to dive a little deeper because I like stuff like that. Not as a kid, I didn't like that energy. But now I know it's just like you said. It's energy is transferable. And it's how you see it, how you view it. I can watch stuff like that. It doesn't bother me. As a kid, I was like,
oh yeah,
I'm not watching it. Candyman, not watching it. Jeepers Creepers at nighttime in the country, I'm not watching that. I can't go outside. I always like, my mom will always tell me when we watch that movie, go outside for something in the car. I'm looking upside the house like, why? Like he may fly or something. Like I did not like Jeepers Creepers in the country. That was not me. Yeah, I'm not in the country no more.
I can't do scary, but there are some, I like psychological thrillers as well. Hey, I like American Psycho.
They got to definitely tune in. We got to talk about, I want to dive a little deeper into your brain. I'm telling you, like the human library over here.
Yeah, let's do it.
Kenyana David definitely come in, crushing it with the P.E.G podcast. It was a blessing. It was love. And if don't nobody tell you guys today, tomorrow, yesterday that they love you, just know, Char on the P.E.G podcast, Kenyana David loves you. Ain't nothing you can do about it. So hate us today, hate us tomorrow. It's okay. We're going to love y'all. Hey, we're going to vibe with it. And we appreciate y'all. And we see y'all next time on the P.E.G podcast. It was love.